and your closed caption is on. Okay. And as getting some people coming in and perfect. Let's begin. Okay. I'm meeting everybody coming into the chat room, and it seems to be that one of the co-hosts, Brad, is taking care of it as I can see him going through his face back and forth, back and forth. So thank you, Brad. Brad is our website designer for the Boston chapter. So, okay, everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is very exciting tonight. So, I hope everyone had a nice holiday and Happy New Year. It's our first meeting of 2025, and we are thrilled to be here with you all. Over the past year, we've faced numerous challenges, and we have seen the arrival of numerous devices and apps that have much impact in our daily lives, specifically for individuals with hearing loss. These technologies play a key role in improving our experience, both at work and in our everyday routines. Tonight presents an excellent opportunity for each of you to share your viewpoints. Why do you value these devices and technologies? Let's engage in a meaningful discussion and learn from each other's insights. We are looking forward to a productive and educating session together. As you can see, is called Assistive Technology Roundtable. And I seem to be having a difficult time trying to go to the next slide. There we go. So let's just lay some ground rules. Very simple. Introduce yourself. Share your assistive technology. While the person is sharing their devices, technology, and before they even share that, raise your hand if you know or if you're familiar with it. Also, raise your hand if you have any feedback or questions. With all that being said, at the end, we're going to have an open mic. Now, I have a list of people who wants to start off by sharing their devices, technology, etc. At this time, I want to see, is Carol Gate here? I'm going to quickly check my chat room. No, she has not arrived yet, which is that's okay. In my next list, we have Brad McKinnon, who, as I mentioned it earlier, is a website designer for the Boston chapter. So Brad, if you could introduce yourself, what do you do? Share your assistive device or technology. Why do you love it?
So I think you introduced me, right, Jonathan? I don't have to introduce myself. No, I'm kidding. So my name is Brad McKenna. I am the technology director for HLAA in my part-time. Uh, I don't have any spare time, so I don't want to call it that. But in my day job, I'm a librarian, which is, the first job you think of when you think of hearing loss. And so my favorite bit of technology is I don't know if you can see it here. You know what? Let me unblur my background so you can see what I'm looking at. There we go. All right.
There
So
we go.
this is just a headset that goes on my head, hence the name headset. And it's actually one of those old-fashioned, landlines. So I got this at work because I can't use the phones at work because I can't hear well enough. And so what this headset is it's a MIDI T-coil. So each of these pads aren't speakers, they have copper coils and they pair with the T-coil in my hearing aid. And so when I can answer the phone, the sound goes right to not just one, but both of my hearing aids. And I'm able to actually, do my job, which is helpful if I want to get paid. Um, so this is a fantastic device. This is a Plantronics Jabra. We can follow up. I can send the link to actually next person talks. I'll put it in the chat. But I love it. If anybody has have ever used a T-coil before, it's life changing. It really is because it like I said, I can't do my job without it. And I've had T-coils in my hearing aids for 20 years, and I've only started using them because masking and curbside delivery with the pandemic at the library, and so it's been fantastic. The one thing I will say is you have to check with your audiologist to make sure that your hearing aids do have the T-coil in them, because that's what the headset is connecting to.
Mm.
So that is my favorite piece. We have questions. Carolyn, I saw your hand up first.
Yes, I am wondering, you can hear me, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I'm wondering why you're not using a neck loop instead of the headphones for your T-quill, because right now
Mm-hmm.
I'm using a neck loop for this meeting. So is there a reason for that?
The
Because
main
you
the
have
main reason is
T-quill.
yeah, that's what the town paid for, essentially. So, but also,
Oh,
how is the microphone on that neck loop? Because you can see this part here
yeah.
has
Well,
the mic to talk, and so I've noticed sometimes with streamers, the microphone isn't fantastic, and so the person on the other end has trouble hearing, which I kind of is fitting. Right now, it's the shoes on the other foot. But that's
well,
all. Just go. Yeah, go ahead.
oh, you ask about the microphone. This is an amplified neck loop, so
Mm-hmm.
I have a volume control on it.
Mm-hmm.
But you're hearing me pretty well, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
well,
So you know what
that's
it might be? The phone systems at work are the old-fashioned landlines. And so I don't think they have any kind of Bluetooth capability. It has to plug into where the the handset plugs in.
so my question, just follow up, is that whenever I use this neck loop, I can use it on any device that has an audio port. And I
You-
think normally telephones, landline telephones, I don't know about audio port, but
So
don't they
this is how
have
it
audio
connects.
port?
It's the old-fashioned, it's called the RJ45 connector.
Okay,
So is that what you have? It looks like an Ethernet cord.
I'll show you what I have.
Okay.
Oh
It's
yeah. Yeah, I see
it's
what you're saying. Yeah, the phone
AUX.
Wait,
adding to that. Uh,
obviously, obviously I couldn't hear you because I had it all out of the port.
right.
But
So the phones at work don't have those.
okay,
So they're traditional landlines, but they're VoIP, which is voice over internet. And so basically it's using the internet. It's technology on top of technology, but it's a great
Yeah,
it's a great idea, Carolyn, because it depends on what your company or what your
right.
house has. I think both of them are options.
Could you put that in chat? The name
With
of the device you're
Yep,
using?
absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Liz.
Thank you, Brad. There's one little question that I want to ask you, a short question before we go to Liz.
Okay.
What is the brand of your hearing aid?
Oh, I have Oticon.
Okay, got it. All right, Liz, you're up. What is your question to Brad? And how are you, Liz?
Well, that was a great question, actually, Jonathan, because not all technology works with everybody's aids. So I actually have two cochlear implants. They're Medel, and I thought I would be the oldest retro technology yet. He just had the same idea of an old T-coil neck loop. I have so much trouble connecting A to B and B to C and my CI completely broke down, so I have an old one, and everything just seems to be falling apart. But I went to Apple, and they didn't have the part, but they told me what to get. So then I went to Target, and they didn't have it. But then I went to Best Buy, and they had this.
Ooh.
So, it has a port for my really old T-coil neck loop that I used to wear in church, with the neck loop system that does work with the old T-coil system because I can't get Bluetooth to work. And it also has a charger, and this connects to my phone, my Apple phone, and it means the most to me because I can now listen to music on the train on the way home. It's a 4-hour train ride to my parents' house, and with all the holidays. I finally got it to work, and I was the most relaxed passenger on the train that I've ever been because I'm a nervous wreck when I travel. But aside from that, music means a lot to me. I finally was able to get headsets that work for me with two cochlear.
It's fantastic. Yeah, it's a good point. Not every
Again, it does go back old school. T-coil, very important to have in your processor.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So check with your audiologist. I think they can, the telecoil technology has been around for decades. So theoretically, it shouldn't matter what model of hearing aid you have. You should just be able to get a T-coil in it, but you do have to ask for it. Most of them have the option to not include it, and that's obnoxious. Julie.
Yeah, I definitely agreed. That there's is a old school. We have to go with new technologies. There's so many things that are going around. Like what Brad said, check your audiologist. One of the things that I do normally is that I would order the technology on Amazon, and the best part of that, if it doesn't work out, you can always return it back. So just whatever device works for you, and Amazon, you just order the thing, see if it works, great, keep it. If it doesn't work, return it back. But thank you very much for sharing your technology, Brad. Yes, Liz.
Sorry, Jonathan, that's another piece of technology that doesn't work well for me. Online ordering, I always get the wrong thing. But anyways, old school. Thank you for that point.
Well, whatever works for you, Liz. It's good seeing you. And now the next person I have on my list, I want to see if Carol has arrived. Has Carol arrived to our chat room, Brad? No. Okay. So my next person on the list is Carrie Sivinen, who is our president of the HLAA Boston chapter. So Carrie, if you could unmute yourself, introduce yourself, what type of technology, devices you have, and why do you love it?
Okay, so I actually have two different apps to share. And I want to talk a little bit about what I like about it and how I use it. And if there's a downside I'll share that. The first one is probably a common one. It's called InnoCaption, and I use it for my phone calls. So can I just ask, show of hands, how many people today use InnoCaption to caption their phone calls?
Who has used InnoCaptions app? Raise your hand.
Only, wow, okay, all right.
Wow.
So great. So I'm gonna try to be thoughtful in giving the basics, and I would ask those folks who also use it after I finish, if I've missed anything, to make sure we call that out. So I actually learned about InnoCaption at an HLAA conference, and the app is actually free to anyone with hearing loss. It's actually underwritten by taxes that the FCC collects. So there is no fee to you if you choose to use it. You have to self-certify that you have hearing loss, and that's it. With InnoCaption, you get to choose if you want your phone calls transcribed by auto speech recognition or by a person. And you get to make that choice, not just once, but you can decide phone call by phone call, or in the middle of a phone call, you can switch. Now, I have not done that. I have elected for auto captioning, AI captioning, and I've been happy with it. Others might find, an error level that for their use, they can't tolerate, but that's not what I have found. I definitely have found that the captioning has gotten much better over time. With InnoCaption, you can actually use your existing phone number. And what they do is they forward calls from your InnoCaption number. They connect your existing number to an InnoCaption number. So anyone that calls you, there's no new phone number, involved. It's all works behind the scenes. So that's a big plus. The captions you can opt for two-sided captions. So both sides of the conversation can be displayed. A few years back, that wasn't the case. A few years back, you could only see what the other person said, and then you would speak and so forth. But now you can elect through a feature on the app, you can elect for two-sided captions, so you can read everything. You can also, with InnoCaption, your voicemail, you can listen to it or you can read it. So every voicemail that comes in for you gets logged as a transcript. And I have found that very helpful when I get calls from my doctor's office or people that I don't speak to frequently, who I might have, maybe like Verizon or, a bill payment issue. People may leave details on a message that I may struggle with. So it's very helpful to get that voicemail in print in addition to listening to it. Before InnoCaption, I used to replay while I was trying to write down what I thought I heard, I can't tell you how much time I've wasted in my life with that, but now I don't do that. It's in transcript, and that works perfectly for me. Interestingly, now InnoCaption can actually be used to dial into a Zoom meeting or any of the web meetings. Now, why is that important? Sometimes, and I'm speaking for myself, I may be dialing into a call, say for a new job, and I don't want to disclose to everyone that I have hearing loss and that I need the captions. Now, I'm retired, I'm a little older now, but I can tell you honestly, in my employment, there were times where I did not feel comfortable asking them to turn on the captions. And the meeting organizer controls that. So what I do when I have to call in for a it could be a FaceTime, it could be a Zoom or a WebEx. I can call in via caption, or I record the meeting on Otter, and I'm going to talk about that next. Okay. Honestly, the only downside I ever have found with InnoCaption is sometimes the line quality when I'm outside of, major areas and so forth. Sometimes it can be a challenge, but honestly, not enough for me versus all the benefits that it brings to me. The other thing to mention is that you can't have InnoCaption on a landline. If you want a landline captioned, you go to Caption Call or Caption Mate. There are other companies that offer, that landline service. Now, Liz, I don't know, do you think differently on that? Okay. So, but those are the only downsides I have found. So, maybe now if I can ask for those of you that don't use InnoCaption or a phone call captioning service, what questions might you have?
Does anybody have any questions for Carrie? Because I know that having closed captions is a main priority for people with hearing loss that really need for everyday life. It looks like Caroline just raised her hand. So Caroline?
Yes, my question is, can you make a three-way call and use InnoCaption? Because a lot of times when I'm talking to somebody, we need to include one other person.
So I have never done that, but right before this meeting, I went online to look to make sure at the features to make sure that I was current, and I saw a bullet about a three-way call. So all I can say is I'll take that away, Carolyn, and look into it, but I did read something on their website about a three-way call.
Oh, great. I'll check it out too, because I left InnoCaption way back when they weren't capturing both sides of the conversation. And I therefore went to Olelo, which turned into, I believe they're called Caption Call now or some other name, but yeah, great. Thank you.
Thank you, Caroline. I noticed that you have shared in the chat room with the cell phone caption app that she knows about, and she named a list of all of them, which is I'm very, very, very familiar with it. Caption calls, closed captions are very important for our everyday life. Go ahead, Carrie.
Well, Liz has something to share, I think.
Okay, go ahead, Liz.
Thanks. I just wanted to mention one other thing that I love about InnoCaption is that, do you ever have a problem when you're trying to read the script out here and they can't hear you because your hand is out here and you have to keep going like this and like this to read and this to talk and this to read? So InnoCaption allows you to log into their website on your computer. And you either can make a call from your computer, which is beyond my technology. But when I'm on my cell phone, it comes right up on my phone. It's connected to your phone number. So you can read what is reading. It's on your cell phone, but you don't have to keep moving your cell phone. You can read your different computer screen while you're on the phone. So that makes it a lot easier to see and speak. And I was just holding up, this is from my coworker. I work for Deaf Inc. now, and there are so many apps. This is the InnoCaption This is what it looks like
Yep.
on here with the blue box in a chat. I think the question about caption call may have been bought by Sorensen. But anyways, there are a lot of different companies out there, the landline companies.
Hey, Liz, would you mind, can we get a copy of that app link?
I'll have to ask Linda for it, but yeah.
Yeah, what I did in the chat room while Carrie was talking about it, I have added a link in the chat room for both apps that Carrie has talked about, the Indo captions and the Otter AI. Now with this Otter AI, what I love about the Otter AI is that yes, Liz. Oh, Liz, you are muted. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. No, I was gonna mention about the Otter AI is that I have shared that app with the college students. So because that's the main thing that by putting the phone on their desk and having their professor or teacher talking, and what it does is that it's catching up with all the closed captions, and then by the end of the classroom or meeting, what the app does, it gathers all the information, all the notes together through AI, and it's gonna give you like what was the main topic, what was the important discussion. Those are your notes. So I really love that app too. Before I go on to the next person, Carrie has something
Jonathan,
else to
Can I
say.
just say something on that, if you don't mind? So I also use Otter AI a lot. And I just want to ask, can you raise your hand if you use that also in the group? Okay, only a few of us. All right. So I actually, if I can share my screen, I want to show people what the output for Otter AI looks like. Is that okay?
Yes.
All right, let me try to do that. So bear with me, folks. Share desktop, share. Okay, give me a second. I always screw this up.
You're doing great.
Okay. Ooh. All right, here it is. Okay. So I attended a meeting a few days ago from another HLAA chapter, and it was on titness management. And I participated via Zoom, and I ran my Otter AI on my phone during the meeting. And at the end of the meeting, you get the full meeting transcript of everything that was said, as well as an AI-driven summary. So this is kind of what I would see. Over here, I get to choose if I want to see literally the transcript. I don't have speaker names. I don't know who they were, but I have the whole hour. I can reread, the conversation for the whole meeting if I choose. Or, which is more useful for me typically, I can look at a summary of the meeting. You can see this on the right, of everything that was said. It's organized by topics. And in that one page, I can actually print this out. I can go over here and I can export the summary of the transcript into Word, and I can print it out and use it for, whatever I want to use it for. So, for me, again, hearing a person with hearing loss, getting the understanding from an hour-long conversation on a topic that I may not be familiar. Okay, now I got to get back. Excuse me, just a second. Get back to you all. It's sometimes it's hard. So there we go. So it's hard. So I tend to use Otter when I'm in a meeting for something I want to take away, where the summary is really important to me, like TITNIS, like scientific topics. And by the way, I always use it, always use it when I go to the doctor. I sit there, I tell my physician, you know what, I have hearing loss. I'm going to use my captioning app and I'm going to record this conversation because that's how and I read it. I will use it in the meeting. I'll look at the print, I'll look at him. So he knows it's not I'm not just trying to record him, I'm trying to understand the conversation. But the beauty for me is I can then leave and I can go back home and I can reread what was said, which is, critical when the conversation is in, again, subjects, not just medicine, but subjects that I'm not familiar. Now, I will say this, you always have to worry that some of words might not be transcribed with 100% accuracy. So you need to be like a smart user. So I would never take a medical diagnosis and, fully reside on that. I would use my understanding and then I would go back and confirm. I would use the summary and I'd go back to them and say, hey, this is what I took away from the conversation, X, Y, and Z. Did I get it right? Just to make
Yeah.
sure, that in any conversation that's important, that I'm getting the understanding that's important. But I feel honestly so empowered by captioning apps. I finally feel on level playing field. And I'm going to share one example before I shut up. So I had a recent contracting job. I actually worked for a chief operating officer of a major financial service firm. And I was his, Gal Friday sidekick, do whatever needed to get done type person. And I would go to the staff meetings and he ran a big, like a geographically dispersed sales team, some overseas, some in the US. And, these meetings would be very active. And I would just turn on my Otter. It would be as on Zoom. I would turn on my Otter and I would sit there and I actually could engage in the meeting, not be worried to try to write down new notes or whatever. I could actually like watch and listen and learn, through that. And then after the meeting, I would go away and one of my jobs was to write up the meeting notes. And I will tell you, I have never had such a satisfied boss because what did I do? I printed out the Otter meeting notes. I summarized it. And he said, you actually capture the essence of the meeting. It's like I'm there again. And I'm thinking to myself, are you kidding? I mean, I did disclose to him that I had hearing loss. I did disclose to him that I was using, my whole tool set, captioning apps. But he was blown away by, how good of a meeting summary and take away, the things we need to get on the to-do list. So, I mean, I have learned not to be sensitive at all. I feel really, really empowered, honestly, from using both those apps to my benefit when I can. And, that's that. I have to actually pay attention and listen more because I'm so good now reading with my captioning app. So.
Thank you, Carrie. Yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree with everything that you say. Able to reread, memorize, able to feel engaged, to be part of the meeting, especially to have closed captions like that. I remember 4 years ago when the pandemic happened, Zoom didn't have closed captions. So all that is they're finally we are finally being heard in a way. So before I go to the next person, Andrea, there's
Jonathan, I
someone
think
else
Carolyn
that
has a
raised their
question.
hand. Caroline, go ahead.
Yeah, I think Carolyn has a question.
Yeah, when you use Otter, does it turn off your hearing aids?
No.
No, because it's done that to me on my phone. Okay, and if you don't care about a transcript, can you just have it transcribing, something that's going on and not have all the other?
Yes. So I have not had that problem, but I do want to tell you, I'm just going to make a plug. And I don't know if Andrea Kneb is with us or Carol Agat, but there is actually also a different device. I'm going to show you here. It's a phone. This is an Android phone, but you can download the Live Transcribe app on this phone and use it not connected to the internet. So if you're in a place that doesn't have internet connectivity, you can still just turn this on, click on Live Transcribe, and use it as a captioning advice. So I don't know if either Andrea or Carol is with us, but if you're interested in learning more, reach out to me and I will get you in touch with someone who has used it. I've just bought mine, so I'm not an experienced user yet, but I love
Do
the
iPhones have that?
idea. You can use Live Transcribe or other speech to apps on iPhones, but you have to pay for Live Transcribe on an iPhone, not on an Android.
But on the iPhone, you can use Live Listen. And that's the same thing what you're talking about for the newer models.
Oh, great.
Okay. Yeah. I can put a link in the chat about that.
And
Thank you,
Caroline,
thank you.
that doesn't have to be internet enabled. It works without internet connectivity.
Right. It's part
Oh.
of the iPhone. Yes.
It's in the
That'd be great.
operating system.
Caroline, go ahead, Liz.
I'm sorry.
I
I'm
just-
interrupted.
Oh, it's okay.
No,
They're all
no,
good questions and comments. I think I saw something in the chat about the same question, Android versus iPhone. And what we've been talking about so far, both Otter, caption and anything else have all been both, their Live Transcribe is available on both Android and iPhone. There are some apps that are only one or the other, kind of like our hearing aids and cochlear implants that somehow are compatible and not compatible. But most of the apps that we've been talking about, Harry, are both. And if you, Deaf Inc. has a whole list of,
Right.
if you have. So Live Transcribe iOS is only for Apple, Android is only for Android. But most of the ones that we've talked about, there's some other ones that we haven't talked about that are, but I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, well, thank you. And thank you, Caroline, for educating me on what's possible with the iPhone. So just to summarize, so for the group, you can use Live Transcribe on an Android phone, or you can use Live Transcribe on Apple. Either
Yeah,
one should be able to work captioning without internet service. So if you're somewhere that, back to Caroline's question about competing with your hearing aids for the Bluetooth or internet, there are devices or apps that work that won't compete.
thank you very much, Carrie. I'm seeing so many chat rooms that people are sharing and so forth. Another one is Ava. But I just responded. I said there are so many closed captions apps. I can't even pick one. It's like so confusing. Like right now, I use the Apple Live Transcribe, but there's so many out there. So my advice to you is find the best closed captions that works for you and stick with it. I'm having a difficult time sticking with it. So now we're gonna go to the next person. I know that Carol hasn't even jumped on yet, but is Andrea on? She was on. Yeah. Andrea is one of the board of directors from the Museum of Science, a remarkable person. It looks like she is not on. So while we're waiting for those two other members, let's officially make this an open mic. So on the bottom, click the react hand to raise your hand. So if anybody wants to share your device, app, etc., feel free to go. Anybody. Start on with Harry. Harry?
Hi, is it my audio? I have trouble sometimes on Zoom. Let me turn off the volume on the TV, sorry.
Harry,
Sorry.
if you could say your name, what do you
Yeah.
do, and what's your favorite device app? Why do you love it so much?
Sure. Well, my name's Harry Hayfern from Lincoln, Nebraska, so I really appreciate the opportunity to join. I assume everyone on this call might be from a little further east, so I appreciate the opportunity. We're pretty dry in this middle part of the country for much involvement. I caught the beginning on the way home with Brad talking about the hearing headphones, telecoils, and of course hearing loops are pricey, but I got my boss. I worked for the city county health department here, and I've had further hearing loss over the years. And so I talked to them in meetings. I couldn't hear hardly any conversations unless they're sitting right next to me. So I convinced them to buy me it's a Williams PLA 90. I don't know how well that's gonna, if I took off my background, I don't know if I,
There you go.
yeah. Yeah. This
Yep.
way. It's actually made in Europe and in Britain. It's a LA 90 over there, but Williams imports it and they're the sole distributor in the US. And I love it for a meeting. I mean, there's a built-in mic. You can get an extension mic, 10-foot one. I bought mine through the Shed Institute of Performing Arts, Ginevra. Oh, forgetting her last name now. Anyway, she's been involved with HLAA stuff too, and they have now a website, Center for Hearing Access. You might also look into a lot of great resources there, similar to what HLAA has, but I think a little, anyway. But so this has been fantastic for me in meetings. And there's like 3 other similar portable hearing loops on the market. I was able to test 3 of the 4. And I still lean toward this one, I think, overall, in how well it works with the mics, the way it's set up and designed. I do wish it had a little longer, deeper field. I have to be about 2.5 feet away from it to really pick it up in my telecoils. I wish it was more like 4. It's kind of meant for the one-to-one privacy thing in a doctor's office, maybe, or counter, checking in somewhere. But it could be stronger. I would like to have a stronger field, but. And then I know Brad mentioned the telecoils in your hearing aids. Yeah, why is it? It seems like it's a nationwide problem that audiologists will not voluntarily tell you about the value of telecoils or hearing loops. I see nodding, so you've obviously had that discussion before, but it seems like it's against they don't have an oath like doctors do, but I just don't understand it. Old technology, yeah, but it works the best thing that's out there. New technology is coming. We have to wait. Why should we have to wait? Or there's not many hearing loops in Lincoln. Well, so what? People travel. I mean, it's so darn frustrating. I've heard the same mantra from 3 different audiologists. And anyway, I'll get off my soapbox. Thank you for letting me join you and sharing the device I like. Anyway, I'd like to get more info on what Carrie was talking about, and maybe I'll share my email. Oh, someone popped at the image of I see. Yeah, good. Cantaloupe. Yeah. in the chat. But yeah, Carrie, I'll email you for more details if you were willing to share on how well yours works in meetings or whatever. But great. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you very much, Henry. Before I ask a question, let's go to Caroline. I'm pretty sure she has a question for you, Henry.
Yes, Harry. I have the same conundrum with audiologists. They will tell you about Bluetooth, but they will not tell you about telecoil. And I do not understand that, except I came up with this theory as to why that's the case. They can sell you Bluetooth dongles, okay, equipment, but they don't make any money off telecoil. So that's the only thing that and of course, time is money. So, they're not going to waste their time telling you about telecoil. But the thing is telecoil and Bluetooth are two technologies you really need in your hearing aid because they do the same thing, but they do them in different situations.
Right. And they need to, even when this new fangled Bluetooth comes out that they gave the name of Auracast to,
Yeah.
They need to coexist. We're several years away from hearing aids being on the market fully with the low energy Bluetooth, which Auracast is.
Yeah.
And they need to coexist with telecoils, and yet we're not getting the service we should be getting from audio. I think it's a class action lawsuit. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway.
I know. But I was at the HLAA Phoenix meeting and I tried out Aurocast, and I was actually using telecoil in that room. And then I switched over to Aurocast, and I realize Aurocast is new, so I don't want to make judgments about it, but telecoil was so much more clear than the Aurocast's experience was. So they have a little ways to go with that technology.
And you've got to use your smartphone. Does every 100% of hearing loss individuals carry a smartphone or understand how it works? Or if it doesn't link up, then you're, excuse the language, SOL. You have no connection then with Auracast. So telecoil is going to work if they got the system working right, and that's the way to go. I'm as you can tell,
I know. And actually, I understand that you can have a telecoil loop in a room built in, and you can put Aurocast over it in the future. So they're gonna yeah. Anyway.
Thank you. This is amazing, and thank you for sharing the information in the chat room, Caroline. There's one quick question I want to, actually maybe two questions I want to ask Harry. Harry, one question is, what is the brand of your hearing aid that you have on right now?
Oh, I always forget. I always think it's Oticon, but it's not. I'll put it in the chat.
All right, no problem. And my second question is, because with that specific product, and you guys get that from your audiologist, I don't know, is there assurance will cover that if you purchase it?
I didn't approach that. I mean, my health insurance just this last year ago started helping cover hearing aids, which is obviously fantastic. I just got this pair 2 years ago, and I only had to pay like $800 for them. And they were like $4,500 hearing aids, 5,000, whatever. My first pair 8 years, first pair 8 years. This device here, the PLA 90, maybe one can make an argument for it. I don't know. Luckily, I was able to ask for it as a work accommodation at work. I have my own personal device at home I bought first, and I took it back and forth to work. And I said, why should I lug this nearly $400 thing back and forth to work and risk it? And I got them to provide me one at work. So if anybody needs that, it's ADA requirement. You got them, they can't necessarily deny you. And they're supposed to provide you what you want, what your choice is, but there's wiggle room with that. It sounds like so.
Thank you. It looks like Brad may have a question for you, Henry. I knew that he was very excited to ask you something.
Not really a question, but a kind of like clarification here. So you were mentioning Auracast, and I did want to mention that because that is kind of the buzzword, and we can't get audiologists to talk about T-coils. So it'll be challenging to get them to talk about Auracast, but Auracast has a little, it's easier, right? So the T-coil, you have to physically you have to like dig up the carpet or drill into the cement in a room because the infrastructure is a lot heavier. But with Auracast, it's just like connecting to a Wi-Fi. It's so much simpler. But the issue there is, I think there's only 3 hearing aids across all the manufacturers that have an Auracast receiver. So Carolyn, I used it in Phoenix as well. And what they do, it's a headset. So it didn't go directly into my hearing aids. It went into the headset. The technology is better. It's newer, but it's also, there's no investment in it yet. So until every hearing aid has not even a Bluetooth adapter, which is how you connect to your phone, but a Bluetooth adapter that's Auracast compatible, like T-coil is the way to go because it's so much easier and that technology is much more mature. And like Harry, my headset that I got is work, so it's an ADA requirement. And so it was like it's close to $300, but it's a work accommodation, and so that's how I was able to get it. So if you're working, consulting, whatever, I mean it's one of the few times the ADA seems to have teeth. So take advantage of it. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, it's as long as there's a reasonable accommodation that would, and if it meets to their budget, yeah, sure, why not? One last feedback, comment, question from Liz, and then we're gonna go on to the next person. And as I mentioned earlier, guys, this is an open mic, so keep sharing your information, your favorite technology, device, everything. Go ahead, Liz.
Oh, thanks. That was another good. We have another portable loop. And if you want to read up more on loop systems, please look into Juliet Starkins. She is the founder, the advocate for T-coils and loops. And she's really trying to hold that foundation for us. Because as Brad said, all else loses, we still have that T-coil. This is a symbol. And we do have a portable loop system. It's not that big. Tape the loop. This is the loop, and tape it to the room that you want to use. So it is more accessible, and that's all I'm going to say because I've said too much already. But thank you for bringing up loops.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Liz. I appreciate that. Again, guys, this is an open mic. Let's keep this going. Does anybody have anything to share? Caroline, I love that. Caroline, go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna move from telecoil to Bluetooth. Well, actually, this is also telecoil. My favorite object is a Roger pen. I don't know how many of you know about them.
Raise
getting-
your hand if you know the Roger pen, and it's also kind of known as the Roger.
Okay. And I use the Roger pen for the following situations: to hear my television through my hearing aids. Also, if I'm in a restaurant, I can pass out Roger pens to 4 or 5 people, and we're all in the same hearing group. And we can talk to each other, but for a restaurant, you have to use the lanyard mode and have them put it over their head. And then if they want to participate, they have to have T-coil and use a Roger MyLink neck loop. So the good thing about this system is that it doesn't matter what hearing aid brand you have. What matters in a restaurant is that you have T-coil. And if you have T-coil, then you can participate in this system. That is pretty brief, but what I have done when audiologists have come to talk to our group is, you're familiar with the clip-on mic system, Bluetooth, so that if you have most manufacturers have their form of clip-on mic, where you're speaking one-on-one with somebody and you put the microphone on the other person. Bluetooth is mostly a one-on-one communication tool. So if you have two people in your house, you can't put mics on two people and use that system. You have to just one person it works
Right.
with. So the good thing about this system is that I'm able to network 4 or 5 of them and be able to talk, all of us. You see, and I don't know any other microphone from any other manufacturer where you can network several microphones and have them included in the conversation.
Thank you, Caroline. Yeah, I definitely agree. That it's more like a microphone, so you pass it along. And I remember when I was a kid in school, and I would have a microphone, and I would give it to the teacher, and it would block the sound surrounded by me, and I would only focus and hear what my teacher is saying. So raise your hand if anybody has their own microphone. Nobody wants to raise their hand tonight. Nobody wants to raise their hand tonight. I know Carrie did.
So Caroline,
Hey,
I literally just bought this. I have an Oticon hearing aid. So I bought the Connect Clip, which is their remote mic, clip-on mic device. And while I've only used it a tiny bit, I have found it tremendous for a one-on-one conversation. I believe the range from what I've read is 60 feet. I have not tested it at that distance yet, but one use I wanted to share that I hadn't thought of. One of our other chapter members told me that he brings it when he golfs and he clips it on his buddy, because on a golf course, there's no way he could hear him speak at a distance. And I hadn't thought of that. I'm not a golfer so much, but there's many different, I think, uses also, even though this is a one-to-one, as I pointed out, device. It changed when I tried it at a distance of about 20 feet. I could not believe how good it was for me. So
now you can ask Oticon if they, can do more than one-to-one.
Yeah. What I read in the booklet was that I can put my phone and I can put my hearing aids, my phone, and this device all together, but that's it.
Yeah. I haven't found any other manufacturer that can do more than one-to-one, except this phone app device. Yeah.
Okay, it looks like before we have one of our leader that just arrived, Carol Gate, but before she shares her technology device, we have someone just raise their hand. Diane, go ahead.
Yes, so this is my multi-mic for resound. I mentioned it in chat, and I think you, Jonathan, asked me to show it. So here it is. I rely on it for so much, but I agree. I mean, it is just it's not. I mean, the good thing about the Roger pen is that it's not proprietary to the kind of hearing aid you have. But this is, luckily, I'm an introvert, and I have a lot of meetings with just a lot of coffee dates with just one friend at a time. And this works really well. And I can also put it up to the computer and I can get it. It just goes right into my hearing aids without dealing with space. So it works really well. And I just discovered I've had it for years, and I've just discovered a new little button on it, which it doesn't just go to one person, but it goes to a group. I don't know how it works. But I'm going to find out. And I use it in exercise class. I give this to to the exercise leader, and then I can hear what's happening. So this is my lifesaver. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I am so glad that pretty much everybody's lifesaver, whatever technology you use, and you know that it's something that you need to function your everyday life, work, coffee dates, and etc. So thank you very much for sharing, Diane. Now we have the last member of the HLAA Boston chapter. Her name is Carol Egate. She is a historian for the Boston chapter. Carol, what happened to you? Carol, you are muted.
I apologize. I have so many events today. I totally forgot when I got through at 6 o'clock. I thought, oh, I'm through. And it just suddenly dawned on me. I'm so sorry to have missed
It's
it.
okay. It's better to be late than never. So,
Well,
so
I don't know
earlier,
whether you would like a demonstration of the Roger On, which is the latest version that took the place of the Roger Pen, or the captioner. A captioner is something different, and
it is different.
Actually, both would be great.
I definitely know what you're talking
okay.
about.
All right. Well, all right. Since I haven't been here, I haven't seen what people have demonstrated. So, Carrie, you had mentioned you'd like me to show the blue.
Well, if there are any features on the newest Roger device that we would want to know about it, Carol?
Well, the latest Roger device is the Roger On, which it does the same things as the Roger Pen, but the Roger Pen has been discontinued, and the Roger On does a lot more. It's one thing I really like is that it has a screen so you can tell where it's set. And like the Roger Pen, you can use it in 3 different ways. You can point it, and when you point it, it shows well, I don't know if your screen is large enough to see those images, but if you point it like this at somebody who's speaking, it focuses in on just that person and does not give you the surrounding sounds. Or you can lay it flat on a table, and if it's absolutely flat, then you see a circle on here, and the circle shows the various directions that you're picking up voices from. So if you're at a table and if people are on 3 sides, you can have those 3 point in 3 different directions to pick up their voices. And to turn off a direction, you have an app on your phone. And using that app, you can touch whichever direction you don't want the voice to go in. So that's 2. One is pointing into people, one is getting people around a table. And the third one is giving it to one person, and this would be the greatest use of the Roger pen also, that you put a lanyard on, or there's also a clip on it, and you clip it on the person, and that is remarkable as far as bringing in the person's voice. But my fallback, the one that has been the most reliable, except lately it's gotten a little wonky, is something that I guess Andrea's not here, because she's the one who told me about it. This is a very, very cheap phone. It's an Android phone, and you can download Live Transcribe on it. And when you do that, you can have your own captioning device. You can use it this way or this way, and it just captions what people are saying. And of course, Zoom with its narrow focus is not a good way to demonstrate things, but here you can get an idea of how it works. And I have a stand on the back, so I just put it on the table in front of me, and I watch the captions. It's like having my own cart provider. So are there any questions on that?
Anybody have any questions with Carol? I do know that Caroline raised her hand earlier. Caroline, do you have a question? And then we're going to move on to Carrie.
Okay, it really was about the Roger On. I also bought a brand new Roger On mini mic, and I've been able to network it in with my Roger pens, just an FYI, so that I can have a conversation with 4 or 5 people at the same time.
That's terrific. You've got a Roger pen that hasn't died.
Well, you know, the advantage of it is that you can buy a Roger pen off eBay for less than $100.
Yeah,
This,
I know.
this Roger On cost me over $1,000, maybe $2,000.
Mine was $2,300.
Yeah. So if you want to get a Roger pen, you know, you can go to eBay, but you have to be careful how you do it, because it has to be a version 1.1 and different things like that. But okay.
Thank you. Carrie, do you have any feedback or anything you want to add? Carrie, you are muted.
Thank you. I just wanted to bring up a use case. So I recently attended my daughter's wedding, and I was in the church. Church did not have telecoil. And I was at the front row. I was the mother of the bride, right? So I'm right up front, couldn't be any closer to the priest who was standing at a lectern, you know, above us. And I'll be damned if I could understand a word, you know, that he said. Really, the sound just dissipated, you know, into the church. And you know, I pulled out my little text device that I had, and it wasn't 100%, but I was able to follow, you know, the conversation that was an important one to me. I'll obviously never go back and have that opportunity again. So, you know, one of the things that I learned there is many prior times in my life, I wasn't really ahead of the ball. I didn't know about these devices, but I also didn't bring them with me. You know, I didn't have them with me when I wish I had. So this was one time that I actually was prepared, you know, and got to, you know, accommodate myself, if you will, and not miss an important, you know, important conversation. So anyway.
Is that because you had it on your phone?
It was because I bought that phone that you told me about.
Okay, was that? Oh, you had the
blue
captioning
phone, right?
Oh.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
because you can also do it on the iPhone, but it's not very good.
Okay, just yeah. So
Thank you so much for sharing, Carol. Before we go on with continue with this open mic, is Andrea? Did she arrived? Andrea, are you here?
I don't see her, Jonathan.
No. So as I mentioned on the chat room that we have 20 minutes left. So this is your opportunity to, show your device, your favorite technology, etc. Don't be shy, people.
Well, I can show you another mic, which I think is fabulous because it's tiny. This is the Phonak partner mic, it's called. It's really small, so you can put it on the lapel without it flipping over. And it's so there it flips over. Depends on the lapel. And it's a reasonable price. It was $450, which for Phonak is almost giving it away. And it's very compact. It works. It does not work on. Let me see. Oh, it works on Bluetooth. That's right. Excuse me. So I more often have the Roger on with me because the on can be used when I don't know what the situation's going to be. It works for all situations. This is strictly a one-on-one, but it is fabulous in a restaurant where you can just clip it on the person across the table from you.
Thank you, Kara. I actually shared a link in the chat room of the list of microphones, especially Phonak, which is I am one of the Phonak member. I love Phonak. It's one of the strongest hearing aid plan, especially for me for my everyday life that I do in the workplace. So I guess since no one is going to be sharing anything or anymore, so let me just go back to the screen sharing before we close this out. So let me go back over here and waiting for anybody can see this. Awesome. So I know earlier I mentioned about the ground rule. Now we're gonna go on to the next slide if it lets me. There we go. So now we have here just a couple of days ago we just created a survey for the HLAA members survey, which is I'm gonna be shortly gonna be sharing that in the chat room right now. Let me just share that. I have too many things going on here. There we go. Perfect. In the chat room is a survey, so it doesn't have to be done tonight. Feel free to take a look, and we would appreciate if you guys could fill out the survey. The leaderships and I learned a lot over the past year, and this is your chance to be heard. Remember this though, we work for you. So, if you have any feedback, any suggestions, anything, guys, please feel free to fill out. There's an email address. We got social media. We got everything. What you guys trying to reach out to us. So we would appreciate if you could fill out the survey and in your feedback, comments, etc. Now, our next slide, we have a whoopsie. We have the upcoming events. So on February 8th, there at 2 p.m. at the Citizen Opera House, there's an open caption performance of Funny Girl. We will be sending you guys an email of the link. And if there's any interest or anything that you guys would love to attend, please feel free to reach out to us and we will send you information. Again, that's on February 8th at 2 p.m. Now, on February 12th, we have okay, I apologize of the time. I meant to switch the time. It was supposed to be from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. as like tonight, as the employment challenges and hearing loss. And it's by this professor at Oregon State University, and it's going to be on Zoom. And I didn't mean to, and I forgot to change my PowerPoint presentation, but I know that March 19, I was supposed to mention about that the next month of February, but however, since it's already appearing on March 19, we again 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. we have an auto rehab and hearing device grant from Northeastern University. Is one of the professor who is the audiologist, and she teaches over there too as well. Remarkable woman, and that's something I'm definitely looking forward to. And at the end is the first Hearing Loss New England Conference in the end of March, the 28th to the 30th. Is it going to be at the Hilton Garden in Marlborough, Massachusetts? Everything that I have shared, they're all on the social media website. If you guys have any questions, need anything, just email us. And I would like to add that that is also on the social media. If you click in our bio and in our link tree, there's a lot of information that you can register and so forth. And let me just get out of here. So before we close this up, I want to go to our president, Carrie Silverman. Is there anything you would like to add, Carrie?
No, just maybe on the New England convention, it will have on that weekend period, we will have a full day Saturday of impactful speakers, all from the New England region, and talking upon a variety of topics of, utility to those of us with hearing loss. The convention fee is $35 for the day, which is very, very reasonable. And that it would include the 3 meals for the day. For folks that need to travel, there is hotel accommodations available. You can reach out to us and we can talk to you about that. And there are, for folks in need, there are scholarships. Again, reach out to us if that's something that you want to understand more about.
Thank you, Carrie. Hold on for 1 minute. Yeah, I'm gonna have Brad right now. He's going to be sharing the link of the website of everything that we have done so far. As Carrie mentioned it, with the speaker information, locations, etc. And thank you very much, Brad. It's called hearinglossnewengland.org. So please feel free to take a look. Click on the link. If you guys have any questions, need anything, feel free to email us on email, social media, on the website. And I guess at this time, I think this has been a very successful meeting tonight. Again, I would like to say thank you so much for coming, sharing your devices, technology, experience. This has been a very useful education meeting tonight. And thank you so much, everyone. Happy New Year.
Thanks, Jonathan.
And to you.
Bye-bye.